Good morning. Let us begin with Steele as an essayist. Though Steele's literary career started with a poem written on the funeral of Queen Mary in 1695, but his most enduring title to fame rests on the great part he played along with Edison in shaping and popularizing the essay. He started a tri-weekly Tetler in 1709. This was in 1711, succeeded by The Spectator, which he ran with the help of Edison. Steele developed an easy and graceful style. He rallied folly with an admirable good humor, rebuked vices with unweighing dignity, and almost alone in his age, he spoke of women with respect. Steele, like Edison, was a moralist at heart. He had a great experience of the town, and he saw with the insight he possessed into the latent vices which city life developed. He became aware of the vanity, ignorance, and selfishness and disillusionment that reigned in the town. The themes of his essays were connected with what he aimed to achieve. Steele's aim wasn't to explore the false art of life, to pull off the disguise of cunning, vanity, and affectation, and to recommend a great simplicity in our dress, our discourse, and our behavior. He wanted to reform the tastes of the readers. He did not want them to continue in the contemporary fashions which were perverted tastes. Thus, the themes in his essays are concerned with good taste in manners and behaviors and reading. He uses humor to make moralizing agreeable to the readers. He also deals with the sensitive studies of home life. He had a keen insight into human nature and knew the dangers of false ideals. Steele was sensible to the fact that the age would not tolerate a serious and grave moralist who was totally didactic. He knew the value of humor. He knew the value of humor in convincing the reader and converting him to one's point of view. He was free of the zealous moralizing of the Puritans. He realized that lightness of touch, a humorous gaiety, was needed to give moralizing an acceptable flavor. He said, touching upon the melody tenderly is halfway to the cure, and there are some faults which need only to be observed to be amended. Steele used his lively sense of humor to effective ends. He is friendly and not as ironic as Edison, and not in the least bit savage like Swift. As Austin Dobson observes, quote, as a genial and kindly commentator upon the men and women about him, as a human and an indulgent interpreter of their frailties, as a generous and ungrudging sympathizer with their feeblest better impulse, he belongs to the great race of English humorists, unquote. Steele possessed a touch of the creative originality. He produced the Tetler as a result of his own idea. The work was original and easy and friendly in style. It was Steele's creative imagination which led to the original establishment of the Spectator Club. It was Steele who made the first sketches of the members of his club. It is true that it was Edison who developed these characters fully, but the original conception was that of Steele's. Steele was not a stickler for perfection of style. He was free from the professional author's obsessions with correctness and cultivated quality of expression. He establishes a friendly relationship with the reader. His essays have an effusiveness of conversation about them. He is often not too careful about the contribution of his sentences. He is free from any kind of pedantry. His prose has an ease and flow. His style shows warmth, sincerity of conviction, naturalness, and spontaneity, which makes up for any lack of correctness of writing and lack of elegance of purity in writing. Sometimes he is capable of writing pithy and compact epigrammatic sentences. He is also capable of a subtle and gentle irony, but his approach is slightly sentimental and romantic, which we have observed in his essay Recollections of Childhood, also, where he becomes sentimental about his father when he is about his mother, how the mother felt on his father's untimely death. He is also sentimental about his first love and asks from God why people are snatched away in the prime of their youth. To Steele, women are distressed and heroines, and he shows a greater sympathy for the downtrodden. In the portrayal of the members of Spectator Club, Steele points out and first showed the general tendencies of each character, and it was left to Addison to develop them. He might have intended them to be mere figureheads, but he achieves the portrait of social environment and character in them. There is a comparison between Steele and Addison's style also. When we think of Spectator papers or the periodical essay, the names of Steele and Addison come to mind naturally together. In its usual contrast, Addison and Steele and often to the it is usual to contrast Addison and Steele and often to the disadvantage of the latter. Their styles and temperaments certainly differed, but we should not ignore the fact that they collaborated together in creating the modern popular essay. They had between them perfect understanding and sympathy. Their work is inextricably interwoven, and each had a profound influence on the other. The essays of the Tatler and the Spectator constitute the monument of a great friendship. The differences between the two, however, are important. Their successful collaboration suggests that their qualities are complementary. Broadly speaking, Steele is original, but often hasty, erratic, and rash. Addison is less inventive, but more prudent, reflective, and painstaking. Steele is fertile in ideas, while Addison is elaborate in execution. Steele lacks that nice balance of judgment which marks Addison. Steele never permitted himself moral reflections of the kind which Addison was very fond of. The essay on Westminster Abbey could not have been written by Steele.